I should have known you'd wind up here eventually. You were somehow always here as a child.
If only I had known him. And still you masked even this from me. My own father's grave?
It wasn't you I was hiding it from. I've been making a lot of apologies to you lately. Now, they probably don't mean that much. But I am sorry, Hunter. Lilith's relationship with your father went against our ways, our purpose, or so I believed at the time. It was the Elder Gods themselves who first breathed life into us. Human notions like falling in love couldn't possibly be part of their plan.
And then you met Agatha.
If only I'd realized it sooner. I might have been a little kinder towards him, especially at the end.
What happened?
A great sickness came upon this area just before you were born. Your father was one of the first to fall.
With all your power, the two of you, you could not save him?
Lilith was a gifted healer, but this was no ordinary plague. The corruption went beyond his physical body. In the end, there was nothing we could do.
What did Lilith do?
She did what anyone would have done. She grieved. But in her grief, she lost herself, and her grief turned into anger.
Is that when you took me from her?
It wasn't long after that. Things started to fall apart before my eyes. I couldn't see another way out but to run.
The plague that turned her into the mother of demons?
No, this was something else, but cut from the same cloth. Your mother was no longer the woman I knew. The sister I had fought alongside for centuries. She was gone.
I've never heard you talk this way before, Sarah.
It's hard to walk the grounds here without churning up so many old memories. Maybe now you understand why I don't venture out here that often anymore.
You were not affected by the plague?
We were all affected, whether we were among the sick or not. I'm sure there was a time when your mother and I both would have just as soon join the dead than continue to watch the villagers suffer.
I cannot imagine you ever reaching that point.
Lilith may have been the most skilled herbalist in the New World. I saw her perform near miracles with the potions she concocted from the plants in her garden. She was consumed by the idea of finding a cure.
But she never found one.
No, despite her efforts, nothing ever worked.
I can see how that would be a dark time for both of you.
With darker times still to come.
Thank you, Sarah. Your timing may need work, but I appreciate the honesty.
Anything for you, Hunter. Anything.
If only it were always this easy to bring a family together.
The Abbey feels so lonely without Agatha.
Tell me about my father.
Believe it or not, you could thank your father for those good looks of yours. There is a striking resemblance.
I only have the faintest memory of him. What was he like?
He was honest, a working man, you could say, authentic. Of course, I still didn't like him, but that wasn't really his fault. I'm old enough to admit that now.
But he loved my mother?
He loved her, and she was smitten with him. As the story goes, they were happy together. For a time.
Until I came along?
You were an unexpected gift, but a welcome one. Your father was very proud.
I wish I could talk with him now.
I know that feeling all too well, kiddo.
bright side, Hunter. You didn't turn into a symbiote monster.
I heard Strange's spooky funhouse went poof. But look on the bright side. Things can't get any worse.
I am a little surprised by your optimism.
Why? Half the weirdos here have survived more than one apocalypse. A house going bye-bye isn't too bad.
You have a point, but Strange just lost his home. This was another major loss.
Yeah, sorry, pal, but I find it hard to cry over a bunch of wood and nails. Unless I'm crashing through a building. Yeesh.
You have never had a home?
Nope. Not unless you count the abandoned subway system. She may have smelled like garbage, but it was my garbage. The Abbey's the only home you ever had, right?
Correct. I spent my entire life here. And what came after.
So you'd be like Dr. Magic Man if this place went down in flames.
I cannot say. It is hard to imagine myself without the Abbey.
Kinda like how it's hard to imagine me without Hydra Bob. I get it.
Home can sometimes be a person.
Ugh. You read that off a doormat? I won't say a peep to Dr. Strange about his house, don't worry.
This is not going the way I wanted it to.
I've been trying to puzzle together where the Salem Coven hid the moon seal from Shaw.
Have you discovered something?
Shaw's drawings. He was looking for the Salem witches who had gone into hiding.
Who might help us?
But they told him nothing. And where he failed, we may still find the answers we need.
I do not follow.
We're going to make a magical phone call. Find each witch warren using Shaw's maps, and collect a sample of soil from each. Soil stained with a witch's lifeblood is a powerful magical catalyst. It may be enough.
Damn it. We needed...
Study Shaw's maps, and bring back a sample of soil from each witch warren. That soil may be potent enough to commune with the Salem witches.
Strange and Tony should start a Lost Headquarters support group.
How long did the Salem witches hide here before meeting their end? Witch sign. This must be a warren. The soil Agatha wants must be nearby. This is one of the witch warrens. What terrible fate did this witch suffer? You are not forgotten. This place resembles one of Shaw's drawings. What does Agatha want with this soil?
Damn. What are we gonna do without the thing?
I have collected the soil you asked for, but you never told me why we are doing this.
Soil stained with a witch's blood is potent stuff. In the wrong hands, it can be very dangerous. In the right hands, well, I just hope it's potent enough.
This is going to help us find the moon seal?
The Salem Coven stashed it away somewhere safe. I'm thinking the best way to find out where it is to ask them directly. Find me this evening and we will prepare the ritual. Never a dull moment.
I have heard that Wanda's power comes from Chthon.
The way I understand it, as a child, Wanda and her family lived in Transia, not far from Mount Wundagore. Within that mountain, the dark god Chthon had long been imprisoned, his corruptive influence an ongoing threat to the people of Transia.
And Wanda was affected?
Whether Chthon reached out to Wanda, or he found her by chance, I can't say. But Wanda was blessed or cursed by Chthon, touched by the power of chaos magic. While he had hoped to make her some sort of acolyte, she proved to be more capable than even he foresaw.
What can you tell me about Chthon?
One of the first Elder Gods, Chthon is said to have existed for tens of millions of years, well before the dawn of humanity on Earth. Believe it or not, he wasn't always the bastion of evil that we know today.
This story sounds familiar.
As the legend goes, the downfall of the old gods was actually brought upon by Chthon's brother Set, who found that by consuming his siblings, he could gain their power. After Set consumed Hypus, Chthon followed suit with the others, and in this way, many of the first gods also became the first demons.
And how did he come to be imprisoned on Earth?
In the same way Hydra has worked to restore Lilith, various cultists of the past sought to revive Chthon to wield his power. When Chthon failed to cooperate, these same cultists did the only thing they could. They locked him away again.
What do you know about Transia?
Transia is your ancestral homeland, Hunter. The birthplace of Lilith and Caretaker. It has always been a sort of magical junction, drawing in every type of occultist, sorcerer, and even the occasional Elder God. The Abbey grounds still behave in much the same way, even after all this time.
And Wundagore?
Wundagore Mountain has always played a prominent role in whatever scheme was underway. Chthon himself is said to have created the Darkhold, deep within the caverns of the mountain.
What was Caretaker like when she was younger?
I'm sure it's difficult to remember now, but Sarah wasn't always the steadfast contrarian. In our younger days, she was much more enthusiastic about dashing off to save the day, not unlike some of our younger allies among the Suns.
That does not sound like the Caretaker we know and love.
Keep in mind, Hunter, Sarah has faced a great deal of loss in her time here. Everyone she ever cared about, in fact. I would say she's earned the right to be disagreeable, at the very least. She is a very strong woman. I'm not sure I would have held up as well given the same circumstances.
Who were the Knights of Wundagore?
Another mysterious group of heroes in a world full of mysterious groups. Of course, I'm no expert on Transian history. I do know that the Knights of Wundagore were formed as a response to the growing threat of Chthon's influence near the mountain.
What exactly did they do?
Hydra was hardly the first to dabble in chthonic schemes. Many have tried and failed to awaken the Dark God. Over the centuries, the Knights fought alongside a number of allies who stood against the various crazed worshippers of Chthon.
You were there? At the witch trials?
Not initially, no. If I had been, I like to think I could have stopped them before it was too late. I sensed something was wrong, and when the witches cried out in distress, I came to Salem as quickly as I could.
But Shah had already committed his crimes against them?
Yes. It was a devastating discovery. And for the longest time, I blamed myself.
But you see now it was not your fault.
I've come to understand that we must accept the past and move on.
that doesn't mean I won't always carry that pain with me.
I know that feeling all too well.
I know. And I wish you didn't, dear. I really do.
Strange and Tony should start a Lost headquarters support group.
I had one job, protect the Sanctum Sanctorum, and I failed.
Doctor?
If you've come to cheer me up, don't waste your time. There is nothing you can do or say that could possibly lift my spirits.
I just came to express my condolences for the loss of your home.
I appreciate that, but I wish that was the only thing that was lost.
What else was lost, Doctor?
Do you even have to ask? You saw that all that dark energy burst from my building, electrifying the New York skyline with a supernatural storm. Those were Lilith's forces erupting into this world. Now they are free to scour every corner of this earth for the parchment. You should have let me go down with the Sanctum. Maybe I could have reactivated some ward of protection that would have prevented all her Lilin from escaping into the wild.
You're too important to sacrifice yourself now.
But what if my death could have saved our entire dimension?
I still would not do it. We need you, Doctor. I do not believe we can defeat Lilith without you.
I could say the same about you. We must accept this loss and gather our resolve. Like it or not, the reality is that Lilith is one step closer from completing the Darkhold and summoning
Chthon.
We cannot let that happen.
All is prepared for the ritual.
How exactly will we talk to the Salem Coven?
You'll see. Come, the moon is right. We don't have much time.
What is all this?
Everyone knows you can't commune with the spirits without plenty of candles, dear. Witchcraft 101. I would stand back if I were you.
I expected a solemn ritual, but I think you are enjoying this.
I haven't been part of a seance in years. And look, it's working.
Is that a tree?
That's not just any tree. It's the hanging tree. Those old girls hid the moon seal in plain sight. Shaw would have never suspected the seal was hidden in the very place he murdered his enemies.
Where might I find this hanging tree?
In the time of the Salem Coven, it was not far from Shaw's church. The Abbey's magic tends to rearrange things, though. You may have to explore in order to find it.
Agatha, what is this?
The corrupted influence of the Elder God Chthon. But we won't be able to heal the Abbey grounds until we've recovered the moon seal, stolen by Hiram Shaw.
The Coven revealed a tree. Where is it?
The hanging tree. So many innocent lives lost. Shaw made that tree his personal executioner. The coward wouldn't have wanted to get his hands dirty unless he had to. You'll find it across one of the great transient bridges that appeared here when they transported the Abbey to this place.
And when I find it?
I don't know what magic they used to cloak the moon seal's power there, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Yes, dear?
Remind me about the seal?
I think you've gotten ahead of yourself, dear. You'll need to find the moon seal first. A trial awaits you. From Transia in the hands of the Knights of Wundagore to the Witches of Salem, that seal has covered quite a bit of ground. Despite Shaw's evil, the Coven protected it to the last. You've seen Cathan's corruption spreading on the outskirts of the grounds. Take this seal to the reflecting pool. Your next trial waits for you there.
This must be the hanging tree. How many innocents died under these branches?
We're supposed to have shop class tonight, but Robbie... Tony really got under his skin. I've never seen him this mad. Can you help me talk him down?
Lead the way.
Thanks, Hunter.
You've gone...
Explain how replacing outdated equipment is a problem.
You moved my car!
It was in the way, and I moved it back.
Crap.
All this flashy junk isn't why I'm here. Why any of the rest of us are here.
Well, I'm here to make progress. If you aren't, then get out of the way.
Never meet your heroes. I get it now. I don't know why I thought you could change.
Hey boss, any clue why Robbie freaked out about the new gear? Does he hate efficiency?
Whatever his reason, yelling at you did nothing to help.
He takes everything so personally. But hey, he's just a guy with a righteous rage spirit living in his head. What's the worst that could happen? I'm gonna bring the rest of this gear online. Should help you streamline the process when you and Parker do your thing.
Hunter, I need a few minutes to myself.
Take your time. I am around if you want to talk.
Thanks.
Robbie just needs a little space. Let's get started. Another day for retooling. We have a few more ideas in the backlog if you want to check them out. Thanks for getting me those components. We're good to go. Time to... Tony, what's up?
I think your gearhead pal is still wound up.
Okay. Hunter, give me a minute. I want to make sure Robbie's okay.
Take your time. I'll assemble the prototype for the Hunter.
Oh, I'd prefer to hold off. There are some details I want to go over before we begin.
Oh, come on. You've managed so far. How hard can it be for me?
Sure, fine.
Before we get started, I've noticed Parker takes twice as long to finish these prototypes than he should. I have some ideas.
We should get started.
You know what? It's just easier if I show you.
Okay.
Sit back and watch the master at work. What? You looking for a round two? I don't want to butt heads, but to quote a frenemy, I can do this all day.
Tony, I don't want to fight you. You were my hero growing up.
Kids do love Iron Man.
Not Iron Man. You, Tony. The man who could fix any problem with technology.
What do you want, Robbie?
10 years ago, you bought the Salazar steel plant, then shut it down. Do you remember what you said at the press conference? When you announced the Stark Technology Center?
Something witty?
You said, I'm here to make progress. If you aren't, you should get out of my way. Tony, you put half the families in my neighborhood out of work. And for what? You never even broke ground on that technology center.
I don't even remember this.
3 years later, most of the families who you put out of work had moved away. Follow the jobs, you know? The rest of us weren't so lucky. That's when things got real bad. But those families had it right. You need to know when it's time to move on. So good luck with shop class. I hope it's all the progress you want it to be.
You too, Parker?
Yeah, Tony. If I could manage it, how hard can it be for you?
Damn it. What just happened?
I guess you are in charge now.
I didn't want this.
That is not what I saw.
I can fix this.
Maybe, but not tonight.